Cuties. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Julie.
And together we're the mother-daughter duo of Stitches of Love. What are you going to teach us today?
I'm going to talk about nesting your seams together.
Okay, let's build a nest.
Not
I can't
really,
wait.
you guys. Not really a nest. But we're gonna for demonstration purposes, we're gonna make a 4-patch. Now I've already sewn these two pieces together with a scant 1/4 inch seam, and I pressed them to the dark side because we're going to the dark side, right?
There you go.
What is that, Star Wars that did that?
I don't know. Yeah, sure.
So anyway, we're going to be nesting our seams. So what that means is, in this particular case, is everybody looking at this camera up here? Okay, so this seam is going to the dark blue. This one is also going to the dark blue, so I want to be able to have these come right in together. Now when you hold that together, you can feel they just sort of like go...
They marry each other.
Right up to each other. See how my knuckles are nesting together? They nest. Is that a good demonstration?
I love everything about it.
Okay, good.
I've never seen you demo it that way.
Well,
but I love it.
Words elude me.
They elude you?
They elude me.
They elude you.
So you guys, I don't know about you, but I don't like little threads hanging. So I'm going to snip these off.
So you know you're right because you can feel it there? And then...
I can feel it, and I also like to feel it down here when I'm doing these.
Okay.
I feel all the way down.
Especially with a larger piece.
Yes. And then the end, I can see this one, the ends are perfectly lined up here. So what I will do now is take a pin. What is that?
It's UPS.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, guys. And I'm going to pin back here on this side.
But okay, here, while you stay in place, I'll zoom for all of you so you can see her nesting. There we go.
Pin that one. And I'm going to pin this side as well.
So now they won't shift at all.
And I'm not poking the pin all the way through. My pin's really not even coming up to the 1/4 inch where my sewing machine's going to be coming across. But I can look at this. Can everybody see that, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm zoomed in for you.
Okay, because I need my bifocals to see it really good, but I think I see that it's really...
Bring it back just a smidge right here. There you go.
It's nested in right there pretty good. Now, I also like to put a little pin back here.
I was just going to ask if you were pin the ends.
I do. Which, when you're doing a whole bunch of, like, putting your rows of quilt blocks together, it can take a lot of pins.
Mm-hmm.
But this will make it turn out nicely. And I pin, if you notice, I pinned this close to the 1/4 inch. See how I did here? It's essentially the same way back here. It's holding it pretty close to the edge. And I'm going to be careful when I stitch it. I don't like my seams to do that. You can go with a nicer
it catches on the foot?
Yeah, if it stays nice and smooth. Okay? So now we're ready to stitch this. Do you want me to stitch it?
I want you to stitch it. Let's go.
Okay.
We want to see the real thing.
Okay.
So here we go. We're journeying into the new camera.
We're over here to this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can get in here without bumping everything. So now I have this underneath. I've got to get my arm back over here, guys. Okay, I know I'm going to be good there.
And just so everyone knows, you have your machine set up for your perfect scant 1/4 inch.
Yeah. I know it's right up here. So, and I'm going to go. I'm just going to go.
Just do it.
Okay.
And now we come back over here.
And we can look at this and it looks pretty good.
It looks great.
Right in here where this seam is might be a little narrower, like we wobbled, but we're going to check that out.
Let's check your wobble.
And do I check this when I'm piecing my stuff together? Yep, I do.
You are an unsewer, if you will.
I'm a checker. I check.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter on this which side you look at. So at the edge of my ruler here, that's just a scant in. It's an optical illusion, I think.
Oh Oh, good.
But it did look to me like, I was like, uh-oh.
It did from here too. That's really
Did
funny.
it? I was like, well, I got that off. So I'm setting my seam.
And now are you going to press it open or to one side?
I'm going to press it open just because
let's check your
there's a
point
bunch
though.
coming in here and I want it to be right.
Can we see your point? The suspense.
Can you see it?
We
It
can.
looks okay to me right here.
It looks pretty perfect to me.
But we'll find out for sure when I do this. And I'm going to finger press it open. Put my finger in here. Give it a nice little smudge with my fingers. And see, this is, we have essentially 4 layers on one edge instead of, right here we have 3 and 3.
Still some bulk, but less.
It's a little bit bulky, so I'm going to put this on here, let it heat up.
I'm excited to see.
And then I would put my clapper here if I had it, because see how that bounced back up? With my clapper, it would lay down flat and stay completely flat. But now I'm going to put this here like this. Let's give it another little press from the top.
Let's see. That looks beautiful.
It turned out.
Of course it did.
And so another way to test to see if it came out just right, this should be, excuse me, 3.5 by 3.5. Now we know this ruler is 3.5 inches wide. I'm to 3.5 here and here. I can also check my
center points
here. I think I'm good.
You look perfect from here.
1 3/4. 1 3/4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
1 3/4.
They all came out just right.
So what were your main tips for getting this right?
1, working with starched fabric. Number 2, knowing that your 1/4 inch seam is perfectly right.
Okay.
Lining up, taking the time to nest those in with your fingers, and also nest it down at the opposite end, even though you're not going to be sewing down here. Nest it so that you know you're straight, and then you're not wobbling any. And then pin 2 pins at your seam allowance. I pin those first, and then pin your other ends.
Now let me ask a question, because this has happened to me, and I think I know the answer, but I want to make sure. If I got to where I nested them together and my nesting was straight all the way, but I had something wiggling on one end, would that then tell me that my original seam, one of my seams I was nesting, was wrong?
No, it would probably tell you that you didn't pin right.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. If you're trying to do something and you know what size it's supposed to be, if it doesn't come out to that size, you made a mistake.
Something went wrong. Okay.
And you can always measure, like measuring this, like if say one side was, that it was angled, I mean, it would be pretty obvious.
Right.
That it wasn't squared up in this case. Sometimes blocks aren't as obvious. But if it didn't measure what it was supposed to, then you would need to back up and see where the problem was. Now, if you had measured the previous step, you would know that the problem was on the seam that you just made.
Was on the seam you just made.
Yeah.
So then really a good tip is to measure.
Check all the way.
Check all the way with every seam.
Yeah, but you don't have to do it every time. I mean, like if I was making multiples of
I was
these.
going to say, if you're like 100 of them, check like 5.
Yeah, check this, you know, like this first one's okay, and then you just keep repeating the same.
Keep trucking.
Keep on trucking through with the same parameters, and you're going to get a good result.
I like it.
Yeah.
I love nesting seams, and my big tip for this is to do what she says and pin, because for a long, long time,
She was not a pinner.
It just seemed like a waste of time to me. I was like, I can hold it. It's not a big deal. And sure enough, my quilts reflected that. And then I gave in and pinned. So give in and pin.
And it wasn't me that convinced her. It was another person.
Yeah.
Another quilter at a retreat, right?
At Front Porch Quilt Shop.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. She convinced me.
Yeah. So if you know, sometimes maybe you don't care if you're just doing I don't know, trying to entertain yourself maybe. You don't really care if it turns out right, just do whatever.
I always care.
Mostly if you're following a pattern and you've spent the money on great fabrics and take that little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
It's only a few seconds really.
So press, nest, pin. Ooh, that should be a little saying. Press, nest, pin. Doesn't quite flow, but oh well, we tried.
Press, nest, pin, repeat.
Press, nest, pin, repeat.
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 Anyway, so there you go. As always, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yay!
And
happy stitching!
Happy stitching, everyone.